Good evening, South Brunswick. We're live from Crossroads North. I call the meeting order. Please rise for the salute of the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with provisions of this act, the Board Secretary has caused notice of this meeting, including date, time, and location, to be posted in South Brunswick Public Library and the Board Office, filed with the Township Clerk, and communicated to the Home News and the Star Ledger. Mr. Pulaski, roll call, please.
Mr. Roger Kirschner. Mr. Raymond Keener. Present. Mrs. Joyce Mehta. Here. Mr. Mike Mitchell. Present. Dr. Stephen Parker. Here. Dr. Smitha Raj. Here. Mrs. Lisa Rogers. Present. Mr. Joseph Scaletti. Here. Mr. Barry Nathanson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of tonight's agenda, please. We have a motion. Moved by Dr. Parker, second by Mr. Mitchell. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Approval of minutes, executive minutes of March 11th and board minutes of the same evening, March 11th. I get a motion. Motion by Dr. Raj, second by Mrs. Rogers. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or corrections? Thank you. Moving along, report of student representative. Zoya, you got the floor.
Thank you. So for tonight, of course, as always, good evening, everyone. I hope you had a great day. Today, I'm going to start off with some news for the seniors. There's kind of a lot going on, and I'm super excited to talk about it. So Project Grad is happening. So we will be going to iPlay America from June 22nd to the 23rd. This district will be providing busing, so you get on the bus at 10 p.m. and we return the next day at 5:30 a.m. It is $45 per person, and you have until May 15th to sign up. But I really highly recommend that all seniors take this opportunity because it's a senior event that we're definitely getting, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So Grad Pack pickup is on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And this is really in case you didn't already pick up your Grad Pack. So come in through the Stouts Lane entrance, and like a faculty member will come up to you and drop it into your car. And if you're in person, you can just pick it up anytime. So another thing is that the final yearbook challenge, I kind of talked about this last time. Miss Lear has been putting out yearbook challenges every week, and this is the final one, and it's only for seniors. So it's basically to take a picture of you or with you and your friends and what college you're going to. So you can be wearing the college merchandise, you can be wearing, or if you're like still not sure, you can like hold up both of them and like kind of look confused. There's a lot of like wiggle room on how to do this, but that's also another chance to get in the yearbook and get a $5 Starbucks gift card. I got mine in the mail the other day and I had a really great brownie. So again, I really recommend you guys try and go out for that. Okay, now very exciting. So Mr. SBHS is happening on April 30th. Today we actually had practice in the auditorium with all the guys, and they're working on a dance together, and it's just really fun, and it's going to be a really great show. So the show will be happening on a webinar, and it's free. Like, it's completely free. I recommend you guys all try and come out and like watch the show. So I'm gonna introduce the participants for this year. This year we have 5. We have Dhruv Kalra, Connor Gong, Matt Lee, Jish Kohli, and Ronik Sani. So that's something to look forward to. We also have some upcoming Chipotle fundraisers. The Clasco of 23 is going, and the Amnesty International Club is also having one on May 8th. It's an easy way to support your classmates and the clubs. Don't cook, give your parents a break and go and get some Chipotle for a really great cause. So our clubs have also been very busy. We have a new unofficial chess club, so if you guys are interested, please check that out. We also have SB Earth doing 2 cool new things. So they have a spring planting volunteer event. This is great to help out your community, and also if you do need hours, this is a great opportunity to get some of those. Seniors, your hours are due for NHS like mid-May. So if you guys have kind of been slacking or you need more hours, this is a great opportunity to get some of those. And this Saturday, there's also a beach cleanup, and all that information can be found on their Instagram, their classroom, or you can email their advisors. The Biomed Club is having a really cool, very big medical futures, bio and medical careers conference on April 20th and the 27th. They're going to have a bunch of panelists and a bunch of speakers who are going to talk about different ways to get into med, like different career avenues, and basically anything you would want to know about this field. So if you're interested in any, going into medicine, or if you just have an interest in bio, then I highly recommend you go to this. Interact is having a walk for Habitat for Humanity on school grounds, SBHS, on April 24th. And the Future Educators Club is hosting its very last Saturday Mania. It is happening on May 15th, and you need to sign up by April 16th. This is for elementary school parents. It costs $7, and the deadline, once again, is April 16th. So now I'm going to be talking a bit about what the athletics department has been up to. So Cindy Ma from Girls Varsity Volleyball earned honor of all division girls GMC for Red Division. Girls Varsity Volleyball earned the Sportsmanship Award for the Red Division. The gymnastics team will be competing in the Pod GMC on Tuesday, April 20th. The South Brunswick High School Viking wrestling team completed a really successful season. They wrestled with heart and out of a true spirit of competition, as team tournaments and conference championships were put on hold this year. The team finished the dual meet schedule at 6-4 and had 7 wrestlers with 7 wins or better. That's amazing. It was a joy to coach these athletes and watch them grow as a team. In the opening match against Old Bridge, the smiles returned to many faces the moment they stepped on the mat to wrestle for the first time in over a year. The Vikings qualified 2 wrestlers to the ultra-competitive NJSIAA Region 5-6 tournament. If they place in the top 4 of that tournament, they will be eligible to compete in the NJSIAA State Wrestling Tournament. Junior Jackson Ratcliffe competing at the 132 pounds weight class, and Captain Matt Carlson competing at the 195 pounds weight class will represent the best of the Viking wrestling team. So that's a message from the wrestling coach. Congrats to the wrestling team for having such a great season, and good luck to Matt and Jackson. So we have the schedule for the upcoming home events. April 19th on Monday, baseball, boys tennis, spring track will be going against JP Stevens. Volleyball will be going against East Brunswick. April 20th, girls golf will be going against Mother Seton. Tennis will be going against Monroe. Boys lacrosse will be going against JP Stevens. Gymnastics varsity championship meet is happening versus South Plainfield and Piscataway. On the 22nd, girls lacrosse is going against North Brunswick. Softball is going against Piscataway. Tennis is going against New Brunswick. The following day, baseball is going against Perth Amboy, and on April 24th, boys lacrosse is going against Edison. So the spring season is in full swing. No pun intended. So we wish our athletes the best of luck. I'm sure they're going to do great. And with that, I'm going to wrap up my report for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Moving along to the report of the superintendent, Mr. Scott Federer.
All right, welcome everybody. I want to start off with an announcement about our new doctor. Dr. Jennifer Disler has completed her program. Woo! You can see that she has her nameplate already ready to go. Dr. Diz.
Dr. Diz.
Dr. Diz. Congratulations, Jen. All right, well, as you know, we're back. We are back after spring break, and this has been a great week so far. It really has. Our one area remains lunch. Lunch is still a challenge daily. It's funny, people have different, easy answers to how to solve lunch, and of course, none of those answers are actually easy. You can't just put kids anywhere, especially elementary level. You have to supervise them. And staffing at that particular time of day is tricky, but so far it's been working. But I wanted to go over with the board as well as the public and kind of share where we are with our enrollment right now. So after spring break, we had another big entry. And right now to share, Brunswick Acres is currently at 37% in person, which is about 177 students. Brooks Crossing is still pretty low at just over 25% at 26.5%. And that's 113 students. Cambridge is 41%, and that's 205 students. And Constable, 44, almost 45%, which is 217 students. Dayton is high, but it's a small number of kids. It's 46%, only 47 students. Dean's, 26%, 42 students. Greenbrook is 45.76%, and they are our winner for the most percentage of students in, and that is 178. Indian Fields is 23%, 119 students. Monmouth Junction is a third, and that's 108 students. South Brunswick High School, 16%, that's 16%, and that's 478 students. Crossroads North, 26.5%, which is 227 students, and Crossroads South is just shy of 30% with 321 students. Overall, as a district, we are at 27% in person. And if you recall, in the summer, we were right about the exact same place. And we dipped, and now after spring break, we're only back to where we started before school started this last summer. So that's where we are. As a district, we have 2,232 kids in, which is 27% of our population of 8,282 students. So interesting. Things are going well. They're moving forward. Huge credit to our staff, all of our staff, for making this work on a daily basis. It's still a challenge, but it's going well. And hopefully as the numbers decline, that'll happen. I think one of the things that people are starting to think about is what happens in September. And while I'm not doing a presentation tonight or starting any forums at this very moment, they'll be coming soon. So there'll be some forums, little chance for people to talk. There'll probably be a survey or two that come out to hear some feedback from people. But I wanted to share a few things so that you hear them that we're grappling with right now. The biggest of all of them is, will there be a virtual option of any kind? If you're following, right now this is in the governor's lap. And the governor 2 weeks ago made an emphatic statement, I think he actually used the term unequivocal, that there will be no virtual option in schools. That lasted for about 36 hours when he corrected himself, saying, well, it's kind of what I heard. So we are now still in the phase, not knowing exactly what the rules will be. I do sit on a Department of Education committee representing about 3 or 4 counties, and we're asking these questions every 2 weeks. And unfortunately, we keep asking the same questions every 2 weeks and getting the same non-response. We really do need to know this information, or we'll be sitting in the same bucket as we were last summer, flip-flopping back and forth. As of right now, as we look forward, we are not expecting to have a wide virtual option. There might be something virtual that's allowed, but I would not expect a full-blown virtual option like we had this year. I don't expect to see that. Another thing we're grappling with, as it directly connects, is social distancing rules and regulations. So for example, right now, they've relaxed the 6-foot rule. So that means you can put more students into a classroom. However, they have not relaxed the 6-foot rule when your masks are not eligible to be worn, which would be lunch. I'm telling you right now, we are jam-packed at our under 50%. I can say with 100% guarantee, if we have to keep a 6-foot distance in lunchrooms, one of two things will happen. We will have 4-hour days, will be back in a virtual mode of some kind, or the schedule as you know it will be completely warped, as we'll need to add many, many lunches in order to actually fit kids in the place. So huge issues that are out there right now, and that they're not as simple as saying no virtual and yes virtual. Everything needs to mesh. What we're hoping for is that the Department of Education, Department of Health, and the governor's office will actually mesh all of their information so it comes in a way that we can actually make decisions about how to educate kids next year. This continuing, which has been the whole time, of misinformation, disinformation, changing information, will only do more of what we've already had to do, which is change, flip-flop continuously. And we really hope to avoid that next year. So those are some big questions. The schedule will depend on that. So we can put a bunch of different schedules together, but I can be as honest as I can. There's no way we can do an existing schedule with 6 feet of space in our elementary schools. We can be creative maybe at the high school level, but your middle and elementaries, there isn't that much creativity that can fit 500 students in 3 lunches 6 feet apart. Right now, I was at Cambridge. They barely had room for the 65 students. That's with less than half of their kids. If you double that, needing 120 spaces, it just doesn't exist. Or you'd lose your gyms, or you'd have to, again, it's monumental information we need. We don't have it yet. The other part about next year is kind of back to that good silver lining part. What have we learned that we can incorporate into making education and kind of transforming education as we look forward to the future? And that's going to be a lot of learning from our staff, our students, our families. How do we make the lemonade out of this? A biggie that we're working on now, and Jen is our guru, is going to be schooling loss and what that means. And we're using that term. That's the term Education Elements has been using, and we kind of like it. I think we kind of like that one. We're sticking with that one right now, and it's encompassing, considering what was not taught, what was not learned, or all the other variables that affected that. We need to get under the skin of that so we can make the best decisions for kids going forward. So that's a big deal. It's how we're going to get the feedback about this from our staff, our students, our families, and that's kind of where our heads are. The problem is our heads are still in managing this year, so it's hard to get past that, but we're slowly kind of transitioning to a focus on how to manage next year. We just need the rules, and we're begging for those rules sooner rather than later, of course. So a few more things to share. We have sent out to the community, to the board, our New Jersey School Performance Reports. That pretty much encompasses all kinds of information. The one thing it will not have, which is the cornerstone of the reports, is student performance data related to standardized testing that did not occur last year. But there are still data about APs.
Yeah.
There's still some data in there, that things that did occur. SAT, is ESL in there?
No.
No, so SAT, AP,
And ACT.
and the ACT scores, those are in there, but nothing to do with obviously NJSLA because they didn't exist for next year. Next year's report will be different as well because there's no NJSLA this year. I'll get to that in a second. But again, that's out and that's public, so that's available. I want some good news. Middle States reaccreditation, something we do on a regular basis, and we received glowing reviews from that, and excited to report we passed this first step. We met all 12 of the standards, and there's just some number of steps we're still going to do, but again, it's a great report, and proud of our team over there at the high school that put that together, and some of our Black Horse Lane members as well. I mentioned before about standardized testing. So the state of New Jersey will not be instituting the NJSLA. I'm going to read this as it was given to me so I don't mess it up. Before spring break, we shared with you that NJSLA test would begin in May pending a waiver. Jersey Department of Education informed us that the NJSLA will not be administered this spring. They didn't quite get a waiver, but there's other ways around it apparently. The state did not waive the following standardized tests, and therefore they will be administered as planned. These are the ones that will happen. One is called Access for English Language Learners in kindergarten through grade 12. Other one is called the Dynamic Learning Maps for identified students with IEPs in grades 3 through 9 and 11. Those assessments still are happening as normal. In September, we'll get more information about the New Jersey, what's called Start Strong assessments Those will be administered in the fall. Kind of like the thought of it in the sense of getting a standard look at where our kids are across the state, when you could deliver that in a way that's both reliable and valid. The big issue was giving the test. When we have 75% of our kids not here, it makes the testing kind of hard to be reliable and valid. So we're glad with the outcome, and we can manage next fall, we think, much better than trying to figure out this. It was very stressful to even think it was going to be happening this year. So that was important. Zoya talked about some important things, but you know, Zoya, I'd like to have at least something you didn't share. So I'm going to talk about graduation a little bit. Tomorrow, I'm joining Mr. Varela and some of the high school folk over at the Cure Center, the Cure Arena, so we could assess what our actual options are. As you know, we have about 750 graduates. That's complicated. So again, when you hear other districts doing other things, yeah, we have districts that could have a graduating class of 100. It's a very different world with 100 versus 750. So 750 graduates. The good news is the capacity for a center like the Cure Center is actually 2,100, not including the graduates or the staff. That's a good number. So fitting 2, possibly 3 tickets per graduate in that center is doable. What we have to assess, can we actually fit the 750 graduates with the social distancing requirement of 3 feet? That's what we have to assess, what that would look like. Is it possible? The advantage to doing 2 graduations is every student would get more tickets, obviously. It's possible that the 20% rate could get raised to 30% or 35%. If that happens, that's awesome if we're doing 1, because then you can get more tickets to kids. And that could always be an add-on at the end. We'll do what the guidance tells us we can do, and of course the Cure Center cannot do more than the guidance says. So we're going over there tomorrow, we're meeting with their people, and we'll have some more clarity on this for next week, which will be good to share with the graduates specifically, board and the public. That's where we are with that. Prom. Okay. We have been promised, I'm going on, God, it's a year. Because we were looking for prom guidance last year. It's never come. To date, we have no guidance at all, except for using other guidance as a way to determine guidance for the prom. We've heard again very recently that guidance is coming. I don't know what they think our time schedule is. That guidance is coming. I mean, this stuff has to be done. I don't understand, none of us understand why this continuously is happening, that we just don't get information. So there's going to be a prom if there's any way we can do a prom. And right now there is a plan. Mr. Varela will be meeting with students. I don't know, Zoe, you on that committee that meets with Mr. Varela?
Yeah.
Yeah? So he'll be meeting with them to get their take on what we think we could possibly do and go from there. It's a wacky thing, but we're looking to do it. We're looking at project graduation. You heard Zoya talk about that. That's very exciting. We're having a real graduation. That's very exciting. Now it's about how do we get prom in some capacity in play here. And there'll be more to come. But I just want to let you know it's not a forgotten topic. It's a frustrating topic. But I'm sure the students will have something to say to Mr. Varela's plan. And hopefully we'll figure it out in time to make it great for the kids, which is what we really care about for that. Okay, some exciting, I'm sorry, we're talking a lot today. Exciting, some really cool news. We have been identified by the National Association of Music Merchants that we are 2021 Best Communities for Music Education, and I am not shocked in the least bit to hear that award. The only thing that would shock me is we're not number 1. We're 1 of 41. We should be 1. Number 1 of 41. But it's a great honor to have that. Obviously, this district continues to showcase its musical talents, and COVID did not put an end to that. So proud of our students and our staff to still accomplish what they've been able to accomplish this year. And another huge, huge positive is Vidor Pullum has been named the Gatorade New Jersey Boys Cross Country Player of the Year. It's a 35-year legacy. It's amazing. Woo! Some other winners, a guy named Peyton Manning, Sidney McLaughlin, Mallory Pugh, Carl Anthony Towns, Elena Del Don, and many other sports icons. And what I want to do right now is go to the videotape. I've always wanted to say that. Get very few chances. Bless you. Press.
Gatorade Player of the Year, that's about as big as it gets. Welcome to the Gatorade Player of the Year family.
So again, what a great honor, and hopefully we'll be able to get Vidor in here to congratulate him in front of his family and give him a special thanks for really making sure South Brunswick stays on the map in our incredible athletic program. Next meeting, April 29th, you're going to hear more about the Teacher and Support Persons of the Year. So that's a big night, and Jen works with a team on that, so we're excited for that one. No, Jen doesn't do it. Jen doesn't do anything. She's a doctor now, so it's now Blair. Blair who does it now? Yeah, Blair Eisman will do that. She's okay. Let that go to them. So that'll be happening next meeting. So just be aware for that one. And Shaylee Goradia is our South Brunswick High School student who has been selected to receive a $1,500 scholarship from the New Jersey Social Society of Certified Public Accountants. She's College Accounting 1 and 2 are part of the High School Scholars Dual Credit Program with Middlesex County College, which we call Pathways to Business Programming at the high school. Congrats to our excellent accounting teachers as well, Karen Hunt and Janet Bogert. So another pretty cool thing. Lots of really good things. I want to share something as we just continue as a society to be confronted with various elements of social justice. It seems we could probably talk about a new element of that every week. And it's been heightened so much so that the CDC has actually come out with a statement on this, addressing racism as a fundamental driver of health disparities and inequities. And here's what they wrote. A growing body of research shows that centuries of racism in this country has had a profound and negative impact on communities of color. The impact is pervasive and deeply embedded in our society, affecting where one lives, learns, works, worships, and plays, creating inequities in access to a range of social and economic benefits, such as housing, education, wealth, and employment. These conditions, often referred to as a social determinants of health, are key drivers of health inequities within communities of color, placing those within these populations at greater risk of poor health outcomes. As a school district, we need to stay on top of this. It is a tough topic. It's a topic that breeds discontent. It breeds fear in discussing it. But the color of your skin, race, ethnicity, one's religion should not be the thing that either gives you a privilege or puts you at a deficit. And that is something our school needs to take control of the best we can. We're doing what we can. We need to not lose sight of this work. COVID, I think, has exacerbated some of it in many ways. But when we go into next year and continue this year, it's something we have to make sure we stay on top of. The CDC getting involved, talking about it in this way is extremely important. And I think a calling, if there hasn't already been a calling, for really everyone to really understand what's at stake for our students, and certainly our students of color. So again, Mr. Nathanson, that does conclude my report. Thanks to all the people. Congratulations to Jen, our students, and welcome back to school. I'm glad we have all of our kids back again.
Absolutely.
Back to you, Dr. Ms. Nathanson.
Thank you, Mr. Fetter. I was almost a doctor too.
Almost, yeah.
There we go. Okay, moving along, we're going to the public comment portion. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. Complete copies of the rules that govern this portion of the meeting are available in the to the public at the back of the room, or you can obtain an advance copy by contacting the board office during regular business hours. We reserve the right to limit each speaker to no more than 3 minutes. It is our plan to listen to each member of the public. We will note all questions and comments made. Once all questions and comments from all members of the public are made, the Board of Education will respond if necessary to questions or comment in the most timely and effective manner available. Please consider not repeating comments and questions made by members of the public. I ask that you state your name, spell your last, and give us your place of residence or your group affiliation. Also, before I open it up, after researching this with other school boards that are live like we are, and the fact that our community is coming back, and we hope to have more students come back. Our next meeting, which will be April 29th, if you are looking to make comments, have any questions of the board, we invite you to come here. Right now, there's no one in the audience, and there's a standalone mic. It's not near us, so you are completely safe. You come in with a mask, and you pose your question or comment. And we're gonna not take questions or comments on Zoom. However, going forward, we will use Zoom for us to live stream to the community so they can watch at home. So that being said, Mr. Plowski, is there anyone, excuse me?
Do you mind if I add something about
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
measures? So just so everyone knows, if you are to come into the school at one of those nights, you're gonna have to fill out a health screening form like you do for students when they come in person, as well as what you'll do here when you get to the building at North, and you will have your temperature check. We have it security manned, and they'll be doing temperature checks. You will have to fill out the screening form, make sure you have not been exposed or fill out the correct forms. And then there's ample space for people to come and still be 6 feet apart from each other in the facility. So I just want to share that, Mr.
Thank you,
Higgins, so
Mr.
people know.
President. Absolutely. Mr. Plowski, is there anyone with their hand up?
At this time, we have no pre-registrations and we have nobody with their hand up.
Okay, that being said, I'll close the public portion. Moving along, board committee reports. Anyone interested in any of the chairs? I know we had a couple tonight, but I don't believe we've had any prior to that. So there's no committee reports. Okay, moving along, approval of tonight's action items, the consent agenda for this evening. I have a motion.
I make a motion to accept.
Moved by Mr. Keener. Do I have a second? Second by Roger Krishna. Roll call, Mr. Plowski, please.
Mr. Roger Krishna?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond Keener?
Yes.
Mrs. Joyce Mehta?
Yes.
Mr. Mike Mitchell?
Yes.
Dr. Stephen Parker?
Yes.
Dr. Smita Raj?
Yes.
Mrs. Lisa Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Scaletti?
Yes.
Mr. Barry Nathanson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Plowski. Moving along, board comments and communications. Anyone to the right? Mrs. Rogers.
If you haven't already signed up for Project Graduation Virtual Tricky Tray, please do. There's only 200 spots, and I think they just have a few left. I've signed up, so I'm expecting everybody here too. It will be live streamed on April 30th at 7 o'clock. They do it on Facebook, and they've done a beautiful job last year. It's a lot of fun. They use an electronic spinner like Wheel of Fortune, and everybody's name is on it, so you get to see who wins. It's very transparent. So they've got some really neat stuff like a iRobot Roomba Xbox, an Apple Watch, and a 55-inch flat-screen TV, amongst other prizes which have been donated
Mrs.
by...
Rogers, just so you know, there's 60 tickets left.
Ah, thank you, 60 tickets, so please sign up. It's a great fundraiser. That's it, thank you.
Anyone else to the right? Anyone to the left? Mrs. Meta, go ahead.
Yeah, just very quickly, the South Brunswick Commission on Women, we had our annual conference and careers fair on the 27th of March. Unfortunately, due to tech issues, some of the panelists and some of the students were not able to log on to, especially to the sexual harassment and DV workshop. Therefore, we have rescheduled another panel, another workshop for Saturday, the 24th of April at 10 o'clock. So any students, any female students, grade 8 to 12, who are interested in signing up for the workshop, please go to the website, South Brunswick Commission on Women, or their Facebook page. There will be a link there that they can register. It's on the 24th of April at 10 o'clock, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to the left? Seeing none. I have a few comments. Piggyback Mrs. Rogers, project graduation, which is the main function. Besides raising money, the money goes towards our graduates. So they were able to line up the facility that we've used for the last bunch of years, which is iPlay. And so they will have the event on June 22nd. There will be a nominal cost of $45 per senior. Participants will be transported from the high school to iPlay. Seniors must arrive to the school at 9:30 for check-in, and buses will depart at 10. Students will return the following morning at 5:30. Participants using bus transportation. Students may not drive themselves. Obviously, there's COVID protocols, but you'll be hearing students and their parents will be hearing more about this as we get closer to June 22nd. I just wanted to, since we met last time, we lost a few people that are close to our community and close to the school board community. Kenny Armwood passed away. He was 46. He was our deputy director of the county commissioners, which is also formerly the freeholders. And I bring Kenny up because I first met Kenny when he was 19. He was a school board member elected to Piscataway Board of Education, and that's how he started his service to the public. So he will be missed. The Keyport Board of Education president passed away within the last week. She was 51. Anne Marie Panzarelli, she died of COVID. So I want to please pass on to her family. Anne Marie was a special person, and I've known her for a long time, and she really was dedicated to children. And unfortunately, last week, Nancy Delgado, who's Harry Delgado's wife, who was a longtime member of this board and past president, her father died, Norman Luck Sr. Norman Luck Sr. was extremely active in his community, especially in the fire department in Kingston Fire. He eventually became commissioner. He just passed away. So I want to, on behalf of the board and the district, I want to pass along our condolences to the Delgado family. So just one thing, and it was interesting that Scott brought up that we're glad everybody's back and we're happy that everybody's in the building, and nothing makes us more happy than getting our students back. But I was going into a committee meeting earlier, about 5 o'clock, going into the library, and I saw the principal of Crossroads North, who just came in from sending off the late buses. And she waved to me from down the hallway, and she was so happy that the students were back this week. And I think that's, our staff's message that they're sending is that even though it's 26% that are back, it's more than we've had before. So if we can keep growing and then eventually get back to full-time people in the building, that would be super. So I can't wait for that. So even if we have to have masks and social distance to some point, it's better than it was. So I want to wish South Brunswick stay safe. Everybody here, please stay safe. It's Ramadan, so I want to wish everybody that celebrates it Ramadan Mubarak, please. And I want to say good night, South Brunswick. Yes. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Ray, second by Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good night, South Brunswick.